Carving the perfect turn is one of the best feelings in the world. It's like a mix of being a fighter jet pilot or an F1 driver. That clean, biting feeling, feeling the G-force, feeling the acceleration is so much fun. But there's one common mistake I see so many people doing. Today, I'm going to tell you what that one mistake is and what I've worked on as an Olympian, somebody who's won 2 gold medals, to improve and reach that next level. And we're going to use Carv to track changes and monitor our progress as we start to implement these tactics. Hi, I'm Ted Ligety, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 5-time world champion, here with Carv at Deer Valley to show you the secret to my carve turns. My trademark was getting super high edge angles and carving almost everything. So my hip was often on the ground, and that was a skill that I really developed over years and years of practice, especially as a teenager. The common mistake I see from a lot of people is they can't maintain that carved turn, especially as it starts to get a little bit steeper. The beginners, they start to wash out their tails, and the more advanced skiers can't get the edge angle required to arc a clean turn across the fall line. The reason for this is in order to control our speed, especially on steeper terrain, we need to get a higher and higher edge angle to be able to pull a tighter radius. People are struggling to get the edge angle required to be able to pull the radius to control their speed. But before we talk about how to get high edge angle, we're going to talk about why it's important to have in order to get a tighter radius. The reason you want to have high edge angle is, if you think about your ski on a flat surface, this ski has a 16-meter radius. But as I tilt the ski over and the ski starts to bend, the radius becomes tighter and tighter until you reach 90 degrees. The ski can bend enough that you can basically pull any radius you want. Therefore, the higher edge angle I can get, the tighter radius I can have, which actually allows me to slow myself down on steep pitches and enables me to carve tighter and cleaner turns. The common mistake I see from so many skiers is their shoulders are perfectly level and they're trying to get their feet out from underneath them. In order to have high edge angle, your feet actually have to be away from your body and you have to be leaning into the hill. But to do that, you actually have to tilt your upper body into the hill at the start of the turn, which allows your feet to get out from underneath you. And then as you enter the apex where the G-force starts to get high, then you level your shoulders. So many skiers just see the perfect picture of skiers at the apex where their feet are out from underneath them and then their body's straight upright and their shoulders are nice and parallel. But what you really need to do is get that separation at the top of the turn. I think it's a hard skill to learn in the sense that it takes trust in yourself and trust in your equipment's ability to hold yourself. But once you feel it, you can really feel your skis start to bite cleaner and actually be able to hold you upright better, especially as you start to level off into the middle of the turn. Now we're going to get into some tips and tricks, try to get that edge angle up higher and allow you to get your feet out from underneath you and be able to trust your skis to really bite and pull that radius. Before we can start thinking about getting our upper body down the hill and starting to lean into the hill at the top of the turn, we need to make sure our inside leg is not getting in the way. A common mistake I see is so many skiers have their inside leg straight up and down and their outside leg is at edge angle. That's called an A-frame. And this drill, it's super simple. It's a railroad track. We're trying to have our shins both perfectly parallel, so both legs are working together. The inside leg will be able to fold up underneath you like a camping chair and allows you to get those high edge angles. All right, so railroad tracks here, trying to have your shins perfectly parallel. If you want, you can push your hand against that inside knee, and that'll help exaggerate that motion of having both shins perfectly parallel. Parallel shins is actually one of the things I worked on most as being a professional ski racer. I was always trying to think about my shins being perfectly parallel, especially as I got more and more edge angle, and just that allowed me to have so much more efficiency in my motion and allowed me to get on the new turn much cleaner. Now that we've gotten that feeling of our shins being perfectly parallel and using our inside leg to help us, we're going to take that a step further and think about sending our upper body down the hill. This drill is called the hand drag drill, which will first start with a J turn with the hand drag. It's almost like you're a gorilla, like your hands are down low and you're reaching your inside hand down right in front of your binding, and that'll help tilt your upper body into the hill and send your center of mass down towards the inside tip of your skis. So what we're gonna do here is you're gonna point your skis straight down the hill for a handful of yards, and as you start the turn, reach your hand to the inside and carve up the hill. It's okay if you feel like more pressure's on the inside of your ski than you're used to. This is just a way to help exaggerate that feeling of sending your body into an uncomfortable position inside the turn. Now that you've done the J turns, we're gonna link those into some real turns, but still inside hand dragging. So as you start the top of the turn, you're gonna reach down with your inside hand, touch the snow. It's gonna feel awkward. It's gonna feel like you're leaning inside, but that's okay. We're just trying to over exaggerate that feeling of your center of mass going down the hill. Reach to touch the ground with your inside hand to really exaggerate sending your upper body down the hill. When I was racing, I would almost think about having my nose going down the course. That would send my center of mass down the hill to get that separation with my feet at the top of the turns. Don't worry if this exaggerated motion feels a bit weird. It is to help you get that separation to start building your edge angles. If you're a carve user, pay attention to the relationship between your edge angle and turn radius. As you start to put the ski more on edge, you should find that your turn radius also gets smaller, an indication that your turns are getting tighter and you'll be more in control of your speed. As one can imagine inside the comments section, everybody's, oh, you're leaning inside, oh, you're doing all these bad habits. Here's where we're gonna bring it all together. The way I like to think about trying to get back over the outside ski is almost like a swimmer. You start the top of your turn, inside, going down the hill, and then as you come through the apex, you level off to the outside ski. So almost like your elbow is tethered to your outside foot. It's inside, outside, inside, outside. Let's go make some turns. I'll exaggerate that motion to get an idea of what that looks like when you're actually skiing. So we see a lot of skiers do is trying to say super square, level shoulders through all parts of the turn, which is really hard to get that inside ski to work for you. But if you add the swimming motion, you can actually grip way easier. As you put all these pieces together, you'll really start to feel it's almost like a slingshot coming out of the turn. And as you release the turn, you're almost weightless. And in that moment, think about starting the new turn with your old outside knee, which is going to become your new inside knee, and tilting that knee into the turn. In racing, we're trying to harness all that G-force and bending the ski as a slingshot and acceleration in the next turn to actually gain more speed turn to turn. Using the energy from the turn before to bend that ski is super crucial for being able to carve, especially on steeper slopes, and be able to grab that edge much cleaner. As we're working on all these skills, remember skiing is a dynamic sport. We're never holding one position for very long. We're always trying to move through the turn and building angles and releasing angles. Inside carve, you'll start to see your early edging scores go up, also your edge angle, but also your G-force. And that's because you're being more dynamic, and as you level off through the apex, that's where you're really gonna get the high forces through the middle of the turn. Today we learned why edge similarity is so important, so your inside leg can work with the rest of your body and fold up underneath you as you gain those edge angles. And then that you need to actually tilt your inside of your body down the hill to your feet out from underneath you to get those edge angles. But then as you enter the apex of the turn, you have to get over the outside ski to be able to hold that G-force and then to release it into the next turn. And using that energy and staying fluid, everything is always building into the next turn and the next phase. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you on the mountain.